Morning.
Morning.
Especially for you.
My noble breakfast, did they? Any dead looks?
Ready to start to the engine?
Yeah. Arne, first of all, obviously Alexander Isak, something to blow it is to him as well as the team, and have you got a time frame on how long he'll be out for?
No, it's going to be a long injury for a couple of months. So, yeah, that's a big disappointment for him. And as a result of that, of course, also for us.
How does it impact things in January? I'm thinking it kind of emphasises the need for Mo to be a part of things and obviously not leave the club. But also, will you be looking to add to your forward line? You're being linked with Antoine Semenyo. Would that be an option? And still talk of bringing Harvey Elliott back as well.
No, I think my first and only thoughts are on the upcoming 2 games. 2 difficult ones again, 2 home games, that's really nice. So I think it's a time for the players we do have available to do what they've done so many times, to roll their sleeves up. And not only our players but our fans as well, to help us in the best possible way to get the results we want in the upcoming 2 games. Because therefore the players that are available need to give everything they have as the fans, as they usually do. And I expect them to do now again as well. Will help us, and that is where my focus is on.
Crabbers?
Just in terms of the rest of the injuries, then Conor Bradley went off.
Yeah.
Joe, Cody, and Endo. Any updates on those?
Con will be 50-50. Conor, he's not training with us today, not tomorrow. So Friday we will see where he exactly is. If he can be in the squad, yes or no, for the weekend. Joe won't be available. Wata won't be available. Who do I miss? Cody? A bit similar to Conor.
As far as Wolverhampton Wanderers are concerned, I think the results are clear to see, but they feel like they're getting near at times. Yeah. Is this a dangerous game?
Yeah. Every game in the Premier League is a dangerous game or a difficult game, but I see the same as what you were just saying, that the results throughout the whole season hasn't been what they were hoping for, but they come closer and closer to results. So especially Arsenal away, of course, where after 90 minutes after 90 minutes 1-1, or did they score an extra time? I don't exactly know, but they were very close to a result over there, and so yeah. As always, there's a challenge in every Premier League game, and that's the same for this one.
Just with all the injuries we talked about just then, are you concerned that the players that aren't injured, there's almost going to be a little bit too much asked of them over the coming weeks and their workload? You're going to have to give them more minutes than you'd have ideally liked to?
Yeah, that's the extra problem you get with injuries. The most injuries we have are not related to overloading. So if you look at Alex's injury, that has nothing to do with overloading a player. The same with Wata. Of course, there are 1 or 2 that might have to do with overloading. So Cody has a muscle injury, and the same is to be said about Joe Gomez. But yeah, this was, for me, a reckless challenge. So I think I've said a lot about the tackle of Xavi Simons, which for me was completely unintentional. And I don't think you will ever get an injury out of a tackle like that. The tackle of Van der Ven. If you make that tackle 10 times, I think 10 times there's a serious chance that a player gets a serious injury.
Okay. And Milos Kerkez says he's developing a nice relationship with Florian Wirtz. I just wonder if you agree, and is that something you'll look to try and work on and develop to sort of further use as a weapon going forward?
Yeah, but I think that you pick out these 2, but every player that plays multiple times together gets a better connection with someone, and I think that was the same with Cody, and the more they play together, the better they connect. So that is not something I'm surprised to hear, but they haven't played so much together, so I think now 5-6 times maybe. So it's quite normal that you are getting a better connection with a player than if you play more together.
Carl?
Arne, hi. Injuries just always offer chances to other players, and obviously with the shortage you've got on the forward line, I'm wondering where sort of Rio sort of comes into your thoughts now. He had obviously a great impact at the start of the season and then sort of lost out a bit as the team struggled a bit. He didn't play as many games.
Yeah.
Just wondering where he sort of features now with sort of shortage you've got up front.
Yeah, I think I said last time already that for his age, if I'm correct, he's 17. I think he has, I'm not 100% sure, but the most minutes of all 17-year-olds in the Premier League. So that tells you how much playing time he gets, how special that already is for a 17-year-old. That also tells you something about his quality, because it's not completely normal for a 17-year-old already to have so much playing time as he had. But it also tells you something about the availability in those areas. But for the weekend, that's not my biggest concern, that position, I would say. So hopefully Cody is back. Not sure, but hopefully Federico can play there, Florian can play there. So if he would be a player that would play on a different position, he would probably have even more chance to come in. But it's the same for all the other players. I think in the game against Tottenham, I had 4 under 21 players on the bench. So yeah, that increases the chance for him to come in as well. So let's see.
You mentioned about obviously you've got issues getting possibly a right back. I was wondering where Jeremy fits in. I mean, come back, played a bit on Sunday. You had the weekend you took him off. But how's he progressing in terms of his sort of?
No, in the weekend he was on a maximum of 30 minutes because he's been out for quite long. But yeah, sometimes I think he's able to start this weekend if I make that decision. And sometimes, yeah, situations change, so you need to take a bit more risk than you would maybe usually do if everyone was available. So that's what I mean. We have to, the players that are available have to roll their sleeves up, including our fans, to get the best possible chance of a good outcome in the upcoming 2 games. And that's for him the same as the others. Why I took him off had, of course, nothing to do with an injury. That had to do with not being down to 10 when you have to defend a set piece, because we already had to defend a set piece with 10 men, and you know the outcome. We conceded. So that's why we decided to bring Federico. Would definitely come in, but the idea was for someone else. But I didn't want to go down to 10 men in that moment.
Hi Arne, you had already a question about Milos, but moreover, the left back position is basically the only position where you have 2 men available, and Milos played 3 league games for 90 minutes recently, and he had cramps and knocks, difficulty in his life. So do you consider him as a starter, or maybe you can give some rest to him?
I rested him during the week against Inter Milan, so he started indeed 3 times in the league, but against Inter Milan Robertson started, and indeed I also see that even when I rest him during the week, he struggles to find the end of the game, and which is not a surprise to me, but it's indeed what's happening. Let's see, there are quite a lot of days in between Tottenham and this one, and we're going to train today again, so let's see where everybody is. And I haven't made up my lineup. Usually we have the press conference 1 day before the game, but now it's 2 weeks before the game, so no, 4 or 5 days before, so I don't know what the lineup is going to look like.
Right, thank you.
And just back on Harvey, have you explored the possibility of bringing him back, or will you explore it?
No, Harvey is an Aston Villa player, and he supposed to be going there for a season. So,
and
any questions about him? The best thing to ask is in Villa, but they are doing really well, by the way.
just on Hugo, obviously, I mean, He's had quite a start to the season. How impressive have you been with him, but also what more will you ask of him now over the coming weeks and months?
Still, he needs to get stronger, but he's already became stronger. I don't think he changed a lot in all his offensive qualities. I've said he's fast. He can score a goal. He gets great footwork. He gets dribbling skills. So he has so much in his locker, I think is the way you say it. But his biggest thing to improve is not. I think he's adjusted to the Premier League now. Now he has to not only adjust but make sure with his physique, how fast he is, he can become also physically outstanding, and that's where he's working on really hard. I think same with him, by the way. In the last 2, 3, 4 minutes, he was very, very, very tired in the Tottenham game as well. So I see this more often, but that is maybe also because so many of the same players constantly have to play. There's hardly any rest for them. So I have to give all of them a lot of compliments that they constantly can bring what they are bringing, playing so many games, hardly any rest, because we don't have so many chances to rotate. And every single time they fight from the first second till the last. And Hugo is one of them.
Arne, just on Alex, obviously it's been a tough first season for him here. He's trying to get up to speed, and then he had the groin problem earlier on. Yeah, how much support do you think he's going to need to help him get through this? And are you still confident he can play a part in the back end of the season?
Yeah, the last thing I am. So yeah, and the first thing, yeah, it's been a really challenging and difficult period for him. I think you join a new club. Usually, when you join a new club, he was very excited, of course, as well. But you want to show immediately all the qualities you have. But that was simply impossible. Maybe no one understands, but if you haven't trained for 3 or 4 months on a serious level with the team, and you are playing in this league, you're not playing in I don't know where, but in this league you need to be on top of your game to impact a game of football, and that took, which we all knew, months before we could bring him there, because there was no pre-season. There were games, no time to, hardly any time to train. So we always knew that it would take him time, and that's why it's such so much. He's so unlucky that he's now injured, because I think we all saw with his goal against West Ham, with this goal, that he got closer and closer to the player he was last season at Newcastle. But yeah.
Just check as well, is Florian okay?
Yeah.
Was that just cramp?
Yeah. Yeah. Another example of a player that has to play a lot, and is adjusting better and better and better to the Premier League. But in an ideal world, maybe I could have rested him a little bit more. But okay, he will be there for us again on Saturday.
Touched on conceding the set piece goal. You haven't scored many this season either. Is that something you're really focusing on at the moment? Because obviously the record hasn't been great this season on both sides of it, really.
We're not focusing on that at this moment. We are so focused on that. I am so focused on and since I'm here as well, but I know the importance of set pieces. It gets more and more and more and more and more. That's why we are so annoyed by our current record, because it's impossible to play top 4, top 5 with our set piece balance, let alone winning the league. So we're the only team in the top end of the table that has a negative set piece balance. All the others are positive set piece balance, and we're not only negative, we're -8, and we're still on equal points, 4th, I think, if I'm correct. So we all know why, because in open chances created, we're the number 1 in the league. So no one has to tell me how important set pieces are, and not even any manager in the world anymore, let alone in the Premier League, because the Premier League is now, if I say 50-50, I exaggerated a bit too much, but set pieces are so important. That's why it's a big frustration for us that we are where we are this season, because last season, when we were halfway through the season, we had not even conceded one set piece yet. And in the second half of the season, where I've said many times already that we didn't play the same football anymore as we did the first half of the season, not as good anymore, for all kind of reasons, but we had a great set piece record because I think we scored 7 set pieces the second half of the season. So it's a chance for you winning the league if you have a good set piece balance. But if we are -8 and Chelsea is, I think, +8, Arsenal's +8. I don't exactly know the numbers, but they're all. United is very high in set pieces. So if you look at that, you could almost say how special it is that we are having the points we're having. If you have that set piece balance.
What do you think's changed though from last season?
Nothing.
Why is it different?
Nothing. Our setup is the same. Defensively, our setup is the same as almost any other team in the league. And if you look at XG, you probably know what it is. Then you wouldn't expect us to concede so many goals we've expected. So that you could argue then if things go back to normal, we will not concede as much anymore. But yeah, is it after half a season still a coincidence that we concede so much more than what you would expect us to concede? Yeah, that's a difficult one. But our setup has been mostly the same. Of course, in the summer we've changed players. Everybody only thinks we brought in, but we did lose a few as well. But I don't even think that has had so much impact because the ones we've lost were not the ones that were defensively the ones that made sure we didn't concede.
Just for the breakout, then I'll do 2 questions that are embargoed